I'm Jen. If you see this guy flying around, his name is Tim, and it's time for Therapy with the Universe. Don't have any idea what we're going to talk about today, but we will see. I think I'm finally ready to start uploading some content that is relevant to the direction that my channel has now gone into. These cards do not slide, man. Write a letter. Write a letter to your inner child. That is making me feel a lot of dread. A lot of dread. What would I say to my inner child? Well, off the top of my head, the thing that I think is relevant now, like if I'm addressing the inner child that I'm still carrying around with me, it would be centered around the fact that that part of me is safe now with the adult that I have become, because I didn't feel I had anyone to keep me safe. So the adult me has stepped up into that role as a safe adult. But if I were to address child me then as a child, I'm not even sure what I would say. I'm even hesitant to say that I would tell child me that I wasn't alone, because part of the trauma that I experienced in regards to religion was being like thinking that there was this man in the sky who could hear my thoughts, and it was absolutely terrifying to me, because I didn't think adults or men were safe, so I didn't feel safe in my own mind because of the idea of that. It really just wasn't. I feel it was not appropriate to teach a child that, especially a child who was abandoned with so much trauma. I'm going to set this aside and we can come back to it, because I don't want to. I think it's important. I think the fact that I'm kind of stuck on it is important, but I would like to come back to this in a little while. Let's look for something else here. Okay, we are back to it. Back to it. I am not done with this silent flame. Presence, quiet illumination, subtle clarity. A flame not need flicker loudly to light your way. Being drawn back to this child card, this deck here, I think it's the inner child deck. It's really quite beautiful. The illustrations are beautiful, and the back is beautiful too. But because I see this as like a very intuitive image metaphorically, it just makes me think about how damaged my ability to hear my intuition was as a child. I had to disconnect from it, because I was being told that it was incorrect by people I was dependent on. Something also that I find striking about this is, if you look at this scene, it's like a dark foresty path area, and there's trees, and it's kind of just like this little light of hope in this dark scene, this like little bit of warmth. All right, I'm gonna pull another one. Let's see. Well, what's interesting is that the first word here in the description is presence. And I was talking about how it would feel normal to, tell child me that you're not alone and that there is a presence with you. But I'm hesitant to say that that would be a good idea, because that was something that caused me a great deal of distress, thinking that I wasn't alone and I wasn't even safe in my own mind, because the only safety I found as a child was alone. Moon beneath water, surrender, patience, deeper seeing. Sometimes the reflection teaches more than the moon itself. Okay, so something that's coming up. I just previously, when I was shuffling these and trying to adjust some lighting this morning, that brought up the psychic ability that I've experienced on and off, where I was able to experience the consciousness of someone else in my life. It usually happened while the other person was having intense emotions. But this is kind of bringing up this quiet illumination. I remember as a child feeling very strongly that someone in my life was projecting qualities that they didn't like about themselves onto me. And I specifically remember feeling this and knowing this as a child, in spite of the fact that it takes adults decades to figure those things out. And I think that it was because I was experiencing that, and I didn't know that's what I was experiencing. But that really did actually help me through some of those struggles with my closer relationships with the adults in my life, was having the awareness that not all of the feelings that were being directed toward me were about me. And I did not realize how strong I was. So perhaps that's what I would say to my younger self. I would just reaffirm that, knowing how strong I was, so that I could get some outside validation for that, and so that I didn't have to wonder if it was just a lie that I was telling myself. To be a child and to know that other people are putting their baggage on you and having no choice but to sit through that and experience that and allow as best you can for that experience to pass through your, I don't know how to say this, to pass through your awareness and your experience of life without it completely destroying you. I definitely didn't know what to do with it, though. I'm suddenly feeling I'm feeling fear right now, actually. I'm feeling afraid of the potential consequences emotionally of sharing this and having someone in my personal life take offense to it and then lash out at me. I'm feeling fear right now about calling somebody else out on their baggage. And that's not fair to me. And that definitely was something that was not fair to child me. Like, I should have been able to express my experience of life without adults around me feeling threatened by that, because it didn't match the ideas that they had of themselves as great parents, great grandparents, great people in the world. Like, it was too threatening to their ego to imagine that things weren't perfect. So my experiences were constantly being invalidated. This is like the 4th time this card has come out. Something else I think is noteworthy here is that this morning, yesterday morning, the morning before that, I keep waking up feeling like shying away from this path. And it's not my intuition telling me that I've made the wrong choice. It's fear. It's fear, for sure. It's fear. But I keep coming back towards this because it's pretty undeniable, thinking about how hard it was for me to relay simple cooking instructions and how easy it is for me to sit here and communicate these kinds of experiences that are so difficult for a lot of other people to talk about. And I find the mind fascinating, and I am drawn to documentaries about the human experience. So something like this really, really is in line with me following my passion. There's sort of a disconnect there, though, in the sense that I don't particularly find... It's not that I don't find myself interesting, because if I didn't find myself interesting, I wouldn't just sit around thinking all day long. But I feel like other people are not going to find me interesting. This worry, this like little bit of worry that I'm wasting my time doing this is really nonsense. It's nonsense, because why would self-reflection be a waste of time? Why would getting to know myself and understand myself better be a waste of time? It feels like the societal programming is fighting back, actually. Like this, no, you don't do this, don't challenge the status quo, don't grow, don't see things for what they are, don't make anybody else see things, don't show people things. We don't want change, we want everything to stay the same. Stay small. It's your job here to stay small. It's the lies. In the tarot, the moon can represent illusion. And the reflection of the moon on the water seems even more of an illusion. Or perhaps it's highlighting the illusion because it's kind of breaking up the solidness of something that we're perceiving to be solid when it's not. Deep seeing. Actually, thinking about this, thinking about the moon being an illusion, or the moon being perhaps the other people in our lives who want us to see this solid existence, this solid person, but then looking at the reflection and it breaks up that illusion, it breaks up the solidness. That kind of makes me also think about seeing through the illusions as a child. Not all of them, of course, but just seeing parts of people that they were desperate for nobody else to see. Parts that they pretend like they're in denial about, that they don't want to see about themselves. Deeper seeing. The water typically represents emotion and intuition. I really wasn't expecting my attention to be so drawn toward these experiences. I wasn't even something I had really thought about talking about, to be honest. Like, it didn't even occur to me when I sat down to do this, to just share whatever came up that first time. I don't think I recall a time when I was able to connect to that larger consciousness when the emotions that were being experienced by the other person were overwhelmingly joyful or happy. I don't think I've ever experienced that. I think I do see the potential importance of my focus being directed toward these experiences, given the context, in a historical context way, like considering the things that are going on right now and everything that is coming out about the files. I'm just really not sure if I want to put all my thoughts on that out there, because I will have to give that some thought. Wild, may you express all that you are. I vaguely recall my personality being a little bit freer early in my life, maybe 6 or 7. I have a very hard time recalling specific memories from my childhood, like all the way up until like 12. Oh, I suppose it's obvious that I was just saying I don't know if I want to express my thoughts, and it says, may you express all that you are. Okay, I do see that. I see it. I see the value in it. I'm probably going to edit this out because nobody wants to watch me sit here and debate myself. I'll just put it like this, and I'll leave it at this until I have had time to really consider doing this. I think that given what I've already divulged about being in having the experience of being in the consciousness of someone else, in particular someone else who's causing harm to me, I feel I have a really unique perspective, one that's outside of, I'm going to study the mind of the monster, as opposed to I'm actually going to experience it sort of like firsthand, but by proxy, so I can maybe explain what it feels like, even though I'm not the monster. Like, I know what it feels like to be the monster, to be inside that energy. And I don't think that it's going to help people who are stuck in that energy. Maybe, that would be fantastic if it could, but just to help people who are struggling with, like, how do we understand this? How can we wrap our minds around people who, are going to harm others? It's so hard for a lot of us to to just comprehend what we label as evil. I'll just say it that way. I'll probably tack on a little bit of footage from me just sitting here playing with my setting here to end this video. And I feel awful right now. I'm feeling awful. Between worlds. I feel like I'm having an extinction burst. Like, the confidence that I need to move forward with this, it's wavering, and then I'm feeling like these huge waves of this energy that's like beating me back, and it's taking me to this place where I'm remembering what it feels like to be in a relationship with somebody who doesn't like themselves, and then when you trigger their insecurities, you just feel like this, you can just feel the self-loathing radiating off of them, and it's being directed at you. I feel that. It's like I feel, it's kind of like emotionally, like my shadow is just like attacking me right now. Like it's telling me things I would never say to another person, like how insignificant I am, how nobody would ever want to listen to me. Oh, that's definitely bringing up memories of my stepfather. I felt like he looked at me like he hated me. Like it's just, I don't know if this is maybe that Clairempathy. It's like I can feel it. I can feel. There's Tim. This. Like I'm looking at myself through the eyes of a monster. The monster being someone else's shadow, you know, just the darker side of human nature, not an actual monster, but just this, like this hate. Like I want to crush that child that I'm looking at, which would be, in that situation, would be me. Like I can feel that. It's like this destructive thing. Like I want to destroy, like I hate this child that I'm looking at so much that I just want to destroy it. And it's like I think that, like, that's how that person felt. Like they felt about themselves, like they couldn't, they hated how they felt about themselves as a child so much that they're projecting all of that anger and all of those negative feelings onto me. Like I could feel that as a child. And of course it took its normal toll on me as a child, in terms of damaging my self-worth and my self-esteem and my willingness to like try to connect to other people, my hesitancy to do so. But it also, because I experienced it from that opposite perspective, it was something that, like, all the negativity that was directed at me as a child, particularly from men, but it wasn't always men, but some of the stronger experiences I had were with men. But because I didn't understand what was happening to me, and I didn't understand that I was channeling their energy, I had no choice but to integrate that as part of myself. And so this is so hard to explain, but it's like it became a part of me that I felt ashamed of, even though it had nothing to do with me. It was like I was worried that was the monster inside of me because I didn't understand the separation between me and my awareness of their consciousness. Like, I thought it was part of me. And so I thought that I always worried that I was evil, that I could become evil. Like, I thought that it was a darkness inside of me that I had to try to control so that I wouldn't become them. That sounds so weird, Jen. That sounds so weird. Nobody's gonna understand that. But because I had those experiences where I was able to look through the eyes of the monster, like, I now understand that that darkness is part of our human experience here, like it or not, and that I do have access to that. Like, we all could potentially, succumb to, giving into that darkness and not wanting to strive for being a better person, or growing as a person, or doing the hard work so that we're not hurting other people. But I didn't fully understand that that wasn't my darkness, it was theirs. I thought I was carrying the shadows of the world inside of me. And I thought that I was fighting all of the evils of this world inside me alone, because I didn't understand that I was channeling someone else's shadow. I just was testing the lighting. Like, what the hell? What the hell? I was testing the lighting. Ooh, I don't want to share that because it sounds so freaking nuts. I don't want to share that, and I don't want people, nobody's watching my channel. There's nobody watching my channel. What am I afraid of? Like, I don't want people thinking that I'm like this awful person. That is a direct reflection of my insecurities about feeling those feelings, though. Me fighting the thoughts that I'm an awful person because I experienced these things, that I'm awful because I didn't understand I was channeling somebody else who was running from their own feelings. So I thought it was me. I thought it was my fault that I was having those feelings. I did not understand at all what I was experiencing. I can't imagine, like, I can't imagine a child. I mean, if I had grown up in a happy environment where I was a happy child, I would have had such a different experience with that gift. But my God, there's no way a child could handle that. There's no way. There's no way anybody could come out of that being, like, having those experiences as a child and not have so many mental health problems because of it. I feel like I didn't stand a chance. And I didn't, sounds like an excuse maybe, but I didn't have the words to I couldn't articulate what I was experiencing, so how could I have even shared that with a therapist? I don't know how I can't even imagine a world where I came from what I came from and not ended up turning to alcohol and having all the problems that I had, because I tried. I went to school for psychology so that I could maybe understand myself, because I was so lost. I didn't even know where to look. I went to therapists. I didn't understand what I was supposed to be telling them. I couldn't figure that out. I always went for depression and anxiety, but I couldn't see my own situation clearly enough to give them the right information so that they could actually help me. I feel like this was the only way, looking back. I don't know how it could have possibly played out any other way, considering the things that happened in my life that were outside of my control. Perhaps I'm learning to have some empathy for myself here. Maybe that's what this is. I'm not even trying to do this right now. I have got to stop. I know, Jen, you are not going to pull any cards off of camera anymore, because lately everything that you pull, there's a purpose in it, and I'm trying to capture that purpose, and I'm trying to capture the universe's participation in this journey that I'm on. I'm trying to co-create this channel with the universe. And if I'm not filming it, then I won't be able to share it. And I don't have to share it, but I want to share it. So stop doing that.